Now, just a heads up before you get into this video, I'm not actually going to drive this Argo anywhere. I'm just going to maintain it. Anyway, carry on. Well, we're back for another episode, and this one is about an 8-wheel drive Argo. It's a pretty simple one, but I'm here to explain that I've been quite busy with everything lately. Namely, repairs keep literally showing up on my doorstep all the time, even though the fact that I'm not in business anymore. The weather has been horrible, so I've got junk flying into our yard, and I have general maintenance like cleaning out the fridge to do, and de-icing the cooling vest packs, which reminds me I have to do a video on that too. But last week I took this Argo out for a trip, which was a week delayed because I destroyed my finger in the outboard. In any case, I should have, once I got home, put grease in these outer bearings just so they don't degrade. But life happened and a week has passed, so I've got to do it again, with a slight complication this time, that there is pondweed over a lot of stuff, because where I took it there's a lot of weed and it's all wound up around all the shafts, so I have to clean all of that stuff off too. So nothing crazy in this episode. This is just one of these videos where I'm going to do a lot more talking than actual stuff. And multiple sclerosis, as I mentioned in many of my videos, does kick my ass from time to time, especially around Christmas, as does the depression, because it was around about this time of year where I lost my brother. So that's a longer story. You can find that video deep in the archives of my channel. I might even dig up a link if I remember. We'll see how we go. But yeah, we need to get this cleaned up, but in order to do that we need to take the tarp off and take the straps off, because we've got to roll it around a bit. If you haven't done this before, these holes are where the grease gun go, and your grease gun needs to go in at the top. Now, I've been lucky enough to line most of these on this side where they'll work, and I've obviously skipped a chain link at some point because they've got out of whack slightly. We'll check this side here. These ones are all off a little bit, but not very far. Still just enough to necessitate having to roll it backwards a bit. So let's get the cover off all of this. Alright, well, this is a job I have covered a number of times on this channel, but not usually with all this pondweed and everything. But it was fresh water, so I think it'll probably be not as bad as it could have been, but certainly going to take a while to get all of this off the shafts. And yeah, some of it is a bit wet, which is one of the main reasons I want to get this off here, is it's going to hold moisture up here, which is going to encourage rust and whatnot. It's a bit difficult with that injured finger though, it hasn't fully healed yet. Alright. Right, pondweed, come off. Alright, I think that's almost all of it. Now, it's not too bad this time, but normally I need to clean these grease nipples off with a bit of a rag, like so. Now, shove a big long round flexible thing in here. and we snap on to grease nipple. We give it a couple of pumps. Usually till I hear a slight crackling sound. There we go. I've seen a little bit of grease move there. That's all we need to do. Just creates a slight bit of pressure. So as the pressure increases or the temperature increases, it pushes the water out. Let's move down to the next one. Now, when you've done a job like this, like if you've done it once, you've pretty much done it 8 times. And this one's more about talking and about depression and whatnot. Now, I did a video some time ago, which I mentioned before, that tackles really like depression and suicide and stuff like that. And the heart of the matter is really speak up. Like, don't sit around and do nothing, and like, people aren't mind readers, and keeping it to yourself isn't going to help it. And one thing I found it's pretty common with all of this is that the feelings of suicide do tend to be very transient. They come and go. They're fleeting. So if you feel like doing yourself in one day, you might not the next. And life has this knack of changing a lot. And look, I've heard people that get into this state like, you know, but if you lived my life, you'd understand why. And sure, I probably would. But I can totally relate. I've been there myself. Moved down a wheel. But the situation that occurred with my brother, it passed. And the truth came out eventually. There were a number of lies involved. That not at his hands, of course. But had he stuck with things, he would have come through it, and he would have been vindicated. But he didn't. And now I have to deal with my niece and nephew every year, and it's hard for all of us. It really is. So committing suicide isn't just about you. It affects everybody around you. And I'd strongly encourage getting their opinion if you're thinking about that. Now, let's get into this one. Let's roll back a little bit. Now, this wasn't intended to be the entire topic of the video with all of this stuff, but it's something to talk about, and it's something that's certainly fresh on my mind at the moment. Especially when I found some paperwork in the map pocket of my Land Rover from this time last year. But I think my grease gun has lost prime. It has. I might have just run out of grease. We might have to load this up. Yeah, this is the point where I get dirty. It's the way these grease guns work. Oh, wow. Right. We'll see how empty this grease cylinder is. I do have some fresh stuff. I was wondering when this might run out. Yeah, well, we're pretty well empty in here. So that's Spherol Ultra Tac 2. So I'm going to leave the camera running while I do this because I don't want to get the buttons greasy. Alright, I have some spare stuff. Yeah, this is a lithium grease, but it's basically marine prop shaft grease. It's designed to go all tacky when it gets in contact with water. So that always happens with these. Always. So I've usually got to pop a few of these little stoppers around here. Oh, there we go. Now you can stick onto that. Now we've got to peel this bit off as well. And you go in like so. This will be fun to see if I can reprime this. A little bit of air out through the air valve here. And we need to undo this one. We'll get there eventually. There we go. You wouldn't think I'd lost dexterity in that hand, would you? That's just good muscle memory. Alright. Now, let's see if we can get into this third bearing. Alright. Let's try again. Okay. So the nipple, there it is. There we go. Let's move up to the back. Alright, so the rear ones are quite a bit more accessible, so you can kind of see what I'm dealing with in here. There we go. Lots of this stuff. Okay, wipe our nipple off because we've got greasy nipples. Anyway, oh, where are we? Where is it? There it is. Alright. There we go. Alright, now we can read to the other side. Now, sometimes I get really lucky and the wheels pretty much line up. So, I can just roll these back till we're about at the top. I'm going to put the handbrake on. The last thing I need is for this thing to roll around and do me an injury, which we're going to have to clean some blood off this in a minute too. Alright, let's do this side. Alright, so that job is about all the energy I've got on a Saturday. And people have been sitting on my channel going, or at least outside the channel in private life, have been saying, hey look, but you look fine, you're doing lots of stuff on your YouTube channel. Well, there's about 3 years worth on this channel. And yeah, I'm usually out of action for quite a while after each one of those videos. You don't see that, and I don't generally publish it, but I'm getting closer and closer to doing a video about multiple sclerosis and all the rest of the stuff that goes with it. So I'd be interested in comments whether or not that'd be well received on this channel. Anyway, we're going to get this thing rolled forwards. Take the handbrake off and roll you forwards. Handbrake back on. So now we've got to clean some blood off. Alright, so I just heard a bunch of you get in the comments there going, what are you talking about blood? Is that clickbait? What do you mean? Or, you know, suspecting some sort of thing. Well, this finger, which is now 2 weeks down the healing route, I got it stuck in the bracket of the trolling motor. whilst I was on the water with my 7-year-old daughter, aka my apprentice, and she was good enough to drive me back. I had to get my fingers unstuck by pushing it down even harder so that the latch would unlock, which of course ended up making me bleed everywhere. And on the way back I attempted to drive, and this is where all this dried blood came from. It needs washing off everything. I'm going to use some spray and wipe. Now my apprentice was actually good enough to perform first aid on me to such a degree that it saved me needing stitches, which I'm quite happy about, and also helped me retain quite a bit of mobility in my fingers. I'm not going to worry about the floor pan because I'm going to do that, but looking at dried blood on the dash, aside from attracting a bit of weird attention, it was a bit of a reminder that I don't want. So I had to clean all this up. Alright, that's pretty easy with spray and wipe. Alright, let's see what's under the seat. Now, the seat is something I'm going to have to do a bit of work under here, because fairly soon I'm going to be doing a video where I go across to a private island and camp the night. Permission still pending on that one, but I'm going to use just what I keep under the seat. I'll probably put a rat pack under the seat, so I'll be cheating a little bit. But yeah, I'll be simulating what happens if I have a survival situation where I get stuck with this and I have to survive with what I've got. The only addition I'll probably bring is my jungle hammock. It is small and lightweight, and I carry it with me anyway if I'm doing a long trip. So, but yeah, I'll have the 2-litre water there. Sometimes I carry a couple of other bottles of water on board. But yeah, basically that'll be all I'll have on board. I will only be about 100 meters from safe ground, but I'll be on an island, so you know, it'll be interesting stuff. Anyway, I'm just having a quick check. I have under here, this is my little mess kit. There's a hexi burner and some hexi tabs in here. I carry instant mash, zip ties, a few other little bits and bobs of rations, chain oil, bug repellent, backup life jacket, the obligatory bog roll. There's a torch in here. I wonder if that works. It does. Okay. So yeah, and I've got a few things. I've even got an orange smoke flare there. It's way out of date. I probably need to replace that. I'm going to throw another rag in here just because they never go astray. But yeah, it'll be an interesting video. So now I'm just going to do a quick walk around and check everything else over and just make sure that everything is as it should be. I should have some spare keys for this somewhere. I should find them at some point too. I'm pretty sure I mounted one underneath the front here somewhere. I will dig that up at some stage too. Anyhow, I'll put my spray and wipe away. So the next thing that needs cleaning up is the ambulance. Going to be camping in that in a few days, or no, a couple of weeks. I have totally lost track of days and times and everything. All I know is I had to get up every morning, take my apprentice to the bus stop, and that is enough to wear me out. But with luck, at some point the government may change their opinion and they'll put me on a disability pension. But for now, they think I need to find full-time work. So I should probably pour that out and put fresh water in it too. I like to always keep that stocked. So let's do that. Alright, well, that's it for this episode. Sorry nothing exciting happened, but you've got to do the mundane stuff, and to be honest, in between videos this is what I'm doing. And it is kind of interesting in how YouTube is set up, such that when you stop producing videos or you take a bit of a break, your view count drops, your profit drops, everything puts pressure on you to perform. And I have to keep reminding myself, I'm not doing this channel for profit. I'm doing it for self-interest. Well, mostly to leave a legacy for the days where multiple sclerosis finally claims my mobility in my brain and I can't do this anymore. And originally it started out for my my oldest daughter, who is now an adult, but it is an emotional time of year for me, and a lot of stuff's happened. I don't know how to finish this video. It's just a quiet one. It gives you a bit of an insight into what happens when I actually slow down. But anyway, I think I'm going to go back inside into the air-conditioned comfort, because MS is heat sensitive, or at least in my case. And yeah, I'm starting to have problems with feeling fingers and toes and stuff, so it's probably time I went back inside. But anyway, hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed it.